Hello, this is Alfonso Escámez, and welcome to a new chapter of Indie Talks. Today, we are going to know an independent watchmaking brand founded in 2018 by Petermann and Florian Bédat, after having worked for several years for prestigious brands. We will know all the details of the brand that bears their surnames, Petermann Bédat. Welcome, Gael. Welcome, Florian. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Fine. Thank you so much for being here at Indie Talks for Doble Firma. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. Thank you for.
Okay, for the viewers and the people in the audience that may not know you, who is Florian Bédat and Gael Petermann? What was your previous experience in watchmaking?
So I will start with myself, Florian. So I was at a watchmaking school in Geneva in 2007. That's where we met. I met with Gael, and I did 4 years of training there. And then after the school, I had the opportunity to work to Harry Winston for 2.5 years. I went there. I did mostly in casing first, and then I moved to a department where we had to assemble additional plates for small complication. And then I always kept contact with Gael after the school, and he always explained me how it was at Lange und Söhne. Gael was at Lange in the same time as I was at Harry Winston, and it really interested me because he learned very fast. He started working on complication very fast at Lange, and for me it was very important to develop my skills into the complication. And he explained me about the atmosphere, the place. So I tried to make a test at Lange. And back in the time, they were very searching for new watchmakers because I think back then they didn't have enough watchmaker in Germany. So they searched for many watchmaker outside of Germany. And they accept me after the test. They proposed me a job. So I went there in 2014. And I did 2 years at Lange, where I work mainly on Lange 1, 8015, as Saxonia. I was in a special department where we made every step except the encasing. So there I really started to learn what's going on movements, and it was very interesting in terms of watchmaking. I saw a lot in 2 years, and that's what I came for. And after 2 years, I decided to go back to Switzerland. And Gael was back to Switzerland before me and started wanted to open a workshop in Renault. That was his hometown. And he asked me if I wanted to join him to this workshop to start working a bit together. We were two independent watchmakers before creating Petermann Bédat, and we had this opportunity later with many things coming from different sides. We came to create Petermann Bédat in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And my name is Gael Petermann. Like Florian said, I made the watchmaking school in Geneva. And in 2011, I went directly to Germany at Lange und Söhne, and I spent 3 years there, first assembling, I assembled the Lange 1 movement, the simple Lange 1 or moon phase, or not world time. What is the in German is Zeit zone, but time zone. Yeah, sorry. Time zone, and also the simple the 1815, but just a normal watch, and the small one also. And after that, I went to the perpetual calendar department, where I built a lot of perpetual calendar. And to finish it, I went to the chronograph department. And it was the time I wanted to come back to Switzerland. And during Basel World in 2016, No, it was 2014. Sorry. I went to Anderson Genève booth, at the HCI, and I discussed with him because before going to Germany, I went to his workshop because our teacher worked 17 years there. And Sven told me, it's okay, you can do a great job, but you can't speak any other language. And for him, it was really important. Say, yeah, you young people, you never want to leave, but you have a lot to learn. And that's why I decided to leave. And when I came back during Baselworld, I say hi to him. And he said, yeah, I remember you. What are you doing now? And I explained him that I'm at Lange making complication. I can speak English now, German, and then he was interested and he said, okay, I'm looking for a watchmaker, but his way to work is you come to his workshop, you rent it, but he gives you 50% of work. But you work as independent in his workshop. And I say, sure, why not? So I came back to Switzerland 2014, and I started in September. And I came and he said, yeah, about that, sorry, but I don't have any work for you. But in the other hand, you don't have to pay for the workshop. So if you can find watches to service, and I started like that, keeping contact with my old teacher. They gave me some works because sometimes people go to the watchmaking school to give watches. And they say, no, we can't do that anymore, but go to Gael, you can do that. So this is how I started in servicing. And then 2015, I started to work with Christie's as watchmaker, doing cataloging or servicing or restoration of pocket watches. And how Florence say, he came back in 2016. I wanted to have my own workshop. And I met Dominique Renaud before and told me, if you're interested, there is a 50 square meter just next door. I was like, okay, because I was too afraid to be really alone. But with a master like him just next door, it was perfect. And we opened this workshop. And then Florian told you.
Okay. Then when did your passion for watchmaking begin? And also, do you remember your first watch?
Yeah, for me, my first watch, it was because when you are 15 years old, you leave the school. Either you go to college, no, not college. What is sorry, I forgot the name, but you continue to study or you make apprenticeship. And when you are 15, you pass like an exam. And because I passed, my parents gave me a Swatch Skelet. I loved it because you finally can see the movement, etc. So that was my first watch. And I think the passion for watchmaking came because I discovered watchmaking with a friend. I was like, oh, it's quite cool. And my father directly loved it. He said, oh, that's a beautiful work. And then he told me, did you see that? And then I made some continuing stage, internship to different company. And it came like that. Going to Gégère Lecoultre or Audemars Piguet, and then wow, this is beautiful watches. And then at school, and the passion came like that.
But you don't have any relatives or family involved in the watch sector?
No one.
Yeah, I heard that my grandmother was in watchmaking. She was doing a hairspring réglage in some company, but that's it.
Do you like the same kind of watches? Do you have the same tastes?
Same taste, not that much, but I think for important matters, I would say we try to find the same taste. But it's cool to have also different tastes, to combine both of them and mixing and get it's very hard to as an exercise. It's very hard to get that, but we try to find at the end that we are both happy. That's the most important. But for example, me, I'm more into modern watches, but when I started to work with Gael and go to Christie's for the auctions and see the watches, I saw many vintage watches that are so beautiful. So I was more into modernity. Then I went back a bit, like in the 60s, 70s, and Gael is more old. His tastes, but yeah, I think we have different tastes, but we find each other at the end. So I would say that.
Okay. How is to start to create and develop from zero a independent brand with your names after working for big companies like Harry Winston, like Lange? What are your respective responsibilities in Petermann Bédat?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when we started to work together, we didn't want to make a brand and make watch it with our name. We didn't really care about that. We just we were making some restoration. We loved it, working together. But of course, we see each other 8-9 hours per day. So of course, you are discussing about did you see that on this pocket watch? Why today they don't do that anymore? If we create a watch, we should definitely do that. And then it's an opportunity that came because, for example, we had a client from Christie's. He asked us. We made a service. So it was quite a complicated watch because some parts were missing, but it was a tourbillon perpetual calendar retrograde. He came with that and said, that's really cool. You are both young. Are you creating a watch? And we said, no, not really. We have this idea, but we'll see. If you are doing it, let me know. I can give you the money before so you can start. And this is how really it began. Like, okay, become serious. It's just not something we have in mind. And then opportunity with Dominique to create, so his engineer create the movement for us. And then like opportunity like that, we didn't create Petermann Bédat at first for making watches. We always say, if we had the opportunity to work for Philippe Dufour or Kari Voutilainen, probably we would never be independent. But at the end, we create this because we wanted to make watches like that. That's all. But we don't care about having our name on the dial. That's not our priority. It's just have fun at work.
And then your responsibilities in the brand, what are both watchmakers?
Yeah, we are both watchmakers. First, that's the main responsibility, and we try to divide a bit in terms of everything that is administrative. Like I'm doing the bills, some emails with the clients. We have external accounting, but I'm working with them. So I'm more into the administrative side, and Gael is more into everything that we have to do with suppliers, find the right suppliers, and it's quite a big job because the suppliers we took a lot of years to have the right ones. Because when you start, you test with one and you see the quality at the end. So, it's not the quality we want. We have to find another one. So it's quite a tough job. And but in terms of emailing with the clients, it's sometimes me, sometimes Gael. Gael is working also for Instagram for pictures now. So yeah, we divide like that. It was more like natural. It was not. We decided at this time to divide. It's we are doing what we are more comfortable with, and we have our strengths and our weakness in. So we decided to go in our strength side.
Okay, then for someone that may not know Petermann Bédat, how can you define your DNA, and what do you think sets you apart from the rest of independent brands?
For this question, we always say, because we are coming from a restoration history, we are trying to, because we love pocket watches, but people doesn't care because they can't wear it on the wrist. So for us, it's like import all the details that have pocket watch movement, but in a wristwatch. This is this idea, taking things from the past, but for today, knowing that we are in a CNC world and we can using it because we can do crazy stuff with it, like case. Now you can make whatever case you want compared 100 years ago. So taking advantage of it. But this is the mindset of Petermann.
Yeah. You have mentioned Kari Voutilainen, Philippe Dufour. Do you have any kind of influences in your designs?
Yeah, we have influence from Lange, of course. We use German silver. Our bridges are quite big. We don't show many wheels or mechanism, but we also have influence from Patek, of course. Patek from the vintage Patek, and the pocket watches. I think that's three main influences. Sometimes you open a book, you see that there is a part or mechanism on a pocket watch. It's very interesting in terms of design, also in terms of finishing. We see some finishing that they are not doing anymore now, and we try to put in our watches. But it's difficult to come with something old and try to make it more modern with a modern touch. That's a big exercise in when we are designing a watch.
And yes, sorry about other independent. You mentioned before line. For us, it's we are not taking inspiration, but it's more like how they create crazy stuff, and now it motivates us to make better. You know, it's a matter of taste if you do it better, but it's like competition, but in a good way. But did you see, for example, the new Simon Brett? Now we can't use a simple dial anymore. We have to put this work on a dial, or I don't know. So it pushes every time further, but we don't really take inspiration from them.
How do you see the market for a newborn independent brands like Simon Brett, you, Sylvain Verneron? There is a new wave of independent watchmakers coming?
Yes, definitely. We see each year there is a new brands. It's a crazy time for sure. I think we are very lucky first. When we heard stories from Voutilainen, Dufour, even Maximilian Büsser, but back in 2000, it was another atmosphere. It was more difficult to sell. You had to travel a lot to show to the people. Now you can, with a picture on your phone, almost on your phone, you can share with a lot of people around the world with Instagram. I think it's a good way to that people know us, but I think the best way is to people come, or we have to come directly to them and show the watches in real, because Instagram is, for me, is just a vitrine, I would say. But, the most important is meeting the people in real, and they can see the watch in real. But for sure, we are very, very lucky now, and we in terms of sale, we don't have any problem. But we know that watchmaking is always making waves. Sometimes good, sometimes not good. That's why we take less risk we can, because we know that sometimes it can be. We're thinking about long term, not about short term, and see everything is going fine now, so we can do whatever we want. No, it's like step by step. don't growing too much because we have plenty of time. We are still young, and we don't want to rush too much. So yeah, it's a crazy atmosphere now. I think this year is a bit less than the other years, but for big brands, I heard. But for us, as we are a small team, we can go through the crisis. I would say for me, it's not even a crisis, but that's our strength in terms of size of the workshop. That allow us to continue to work without knowing if this year will be good or not. So yeah, we are working also with retailers that's supporting us. I think it's also important to work that way because they are a cycle of clients that follow them since a long time, and it's very loyal clients. And for me, that's the best ones. That's the ones you don't see on Instagram or it's very discreet clients that very understand our philosophy, and we are very happy to work with them. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the watches. How long did it take you to develop your first watch since you were together?
We started in 2017, and the first one has been delivered in 2019. But after that we update a lot the watch. But now we are finally totally comfortable with the development of it. Of course, it works with the others, but now we increase the power reserve, for example, the friction, and it works. I would say better. In a way, it works better. So now in 2024, but for the first prototype, it took us 2 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And why choosing that second complication? Because it's not the typical complication that you may see in the first watches that when you release a watch.
Yes, we chose this complication because we wanted to focus on very connoisseur, I would say, people that are into the independence since a long time. Deadbeat Second is very a special complication that wasn't well known before, and also there is many ways to do this complication, and we found one on a whole book from a pocket watch, and we found this system. For us, it's not the most efficient one. We know that it takes a lot of time to regulate, to adjust the parts. But for us, it was the most beautiful. And as a first watch, we wanted to show the people what we can do in terms of finishing. And this complication in this system allow us to show the people our finishing techniques. We made this double anchor with 4 arrows to show the people that we can do this this kind of finishing, and yeah, we are very proud of that. But the deadbeats also we wanted to come with a plus instead of I would say just a simple watch, which is already a big challenge. We wanted to make a plus on it with adding a deadbeat second, like for example for the chronograph. First, we wanted to make a chronograph, but Gael came to me and said we have to make a bit further with a rattrapante. So adding always something, a touch in plus to our watches, I think to find the right clients who appreciate that, and yeah, so Deadbeat is a very now there is more deadbeats, but when we started, we know that a lot of people ask it was a quartz watch or mechanical. So that's we knew that.
Yeah. Then can you tell us a little bit about your first 2 models and why choosing a skeleton or semi-skeleton dials? It will be a feature in your next watches?
Yeah, the idea came from our designer, because first we had just a simple dial. And no one wanted this dial, and when the designer came, he said, "But that's insane. amount of work you put, because we kept this idea to black polish every steel parts, but most of the steel parts are under the dial. And he was like, why are you hidden that? Are you crazy? And we are like, yeah, but really traditional. We say, yeah, but we like the idea to make beautiful things, even if it's hidden. They say, no, we should try something else. And he came with this idea of semi-open dial first. And with Florian, we were like, no, I don't think it's a good idea. And he said, yeah, but just take time, think about that. And then after 2 weeks, we discussed a lot with Florian. I say, okay, he's a designer since more than 25 years. He knows better the market than us. They say, okay, let's do that. And then he worked a lot on it. And at the end of the design, we were like, oh, no, that's pretty good idea, I think. And when we received the dial from Comblemin, we were really surprised of say, wow, he was right and we were wrong. So hopefully we listened to him, and but the idea came totally from him.
Yes, you have been working with Bartels Baumer, no?
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, because I have interviewed him talking about colloquium.
Okay, great, yeah.
And also for the future models, we also made a semi-open for the chronograph, but we don't want to stick in that. I think we are searching for maybe closing the dials, but in a good way. We don't want to change completely everything. So we don't want to be known as a semi-open dial for all our models. So we try also to go a bit outside of our comfort zone, I would say. And for the next model, it will be a closed one.
Okay, great. For you, what are the pros and the cons of being an independent brand? Because you are a brand new independent brand. What do you think is the good part of being independent and the dark side?
I think the good part for me is we can do a lot of different things, compared to big companies. Sometimes say, okay, I will do encasing, and then no, I want to be behind the computer making 3D CAD. So I can change a little bit my mind doing different job, and also the contact with the client is really. Yeah. We love that with Florian, because you can share passion and hear what people think about your watch, about your work. And this is the really great part. We love that. And I think the bad part is you, of course, you make mistakes, and the mistake are yours, and it's you keep that in mind for days and days, and now what can we do with this problem or this problem, compared to a company who you don't care if it's not your name on the dial. So if you scratch, or if a client is not happy, you don't care. It's not your problem, because client will never. You will never discuss with the client, or I say client, or suppliers, or whatever. When you finish your work, it's done. You don't care. You don't need to think about that. But when you are independent, you think about your work all the time. And when it's going great, you are in a really good mood. But when you have bad news, it could be hard. And this is the worst part, I think.
Yeah, also I think that it's outside of the bench that we are not comfortable with. Like I said, the administrative, even trying to find the right price for the next model it's something very important, and you have to take a lot of time to think about that, and it's very difficult because we never learned that at the school. We learn matchmaking, but not dealing with clients, not dealing with suppliers, not all the parts that are outside the bench is very difficult. So it's not like the dark side, I would say. It's just the most challenging. One of the most challenging stuff is to make the right decision with the right strategy. And sometimes, of course, when we are young, you make mistakes. But I think we speak with other watchmakers that are older than us, and they all told us everybody does that. So it's
you have to pass through that time.
Yeah. If you don't do any mistakes, there is a problem.
You are not risking enough.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Coming back to the calibers, do you produce in-house all the caliber?
It depends on what you are. What do you mean about produce? We are making the parts by suppliers, but then we receive the parts like raw, and we decorate by ourselves, and then building the movement, regulating, encasing. We do all the work, but like making parts, we have suppliers. Yeah.
Okay, great. You are a small brand. What is more or less your yearly production of watches?
So for now, we are between 12 to 14 pieces a year. So it's a good start, I will say, but we want to increase step by step. Again, we are now a team of 7 in total, including Gael and I. So I think it's a good size. We grow quite fast, so now we try to slow down a bit, and we hired 2 watchmakers this year, and they are two good watchmakers. I think that they brought a lot of knowledge in terms of finishing, in terms of many things. So for now, we are in a good size, and we'll keep that for a few years.
Because you have had an amazing acceptance by the enthusiasts, collectors. Then are you planning to increase the production because I'm sure that there is a waiting list for your watches?
Yeah, we know that it's the big issue for independents. We have, of course, a lot of interests. We have lists, of course. Clients come a lot to our workshop. We want to increase it, but we don't want to hire like 10 watchmakers to increase. Next year, normally, we don't know exactly when we want to release a new model, the three hands watch, simple, to allow more people to have a Petermann Bédat watch and increase the production with this model. So we are now at the design of the dial. So we are quite close to have a product on the computer, but we want to make the thing right. We want to have two prototypes to show to the people before make the official release. So we'll take time that we need, and we hope that the production can increase with that.
Okay. And are you planning to increase any other complication in your future designs?
Yes, the idea is to have two parts in the workshop. One for simple watches, simple complication, like I don't know, like date or this small complication, and another part with complication like chronograph or perpetual calendar. I don't know, and we want to continue to make both simple and complicated watch. This is the idea.
Great. Considering that you're producing less than 20 watches per year and you're planning to have new models, if someone is interested in buying one of your watches, what is the normal procedure? What can we do?
So there is many ways to do. We ask the clients to send us an email first for if they have interest. We register them in the waiting list, of course. They can go also to our retailers. We have 3 retailers now. There is a Collected Man. They are based in London, the Hourglass in Singapore, and Art in Time in Monaco. We are working with 3. I think it's a good number, because a lot of other people wanted to work with us, but our production is so low that for now we can't. And also sometimes people come to the workshop, have a chat with us, and put interest in it. I think that's also a good way, because we can know a bit better the clients than for example, through emails or stuff like that. So yeah, I think there is 3 ways to do it. We are open in every way possible. There is no problem at all.
Mm-hmm. Then, what is more or less the price range of your watches? Well, the 2 watches that you have now.
It's the Deadbeat Second in titanium is 70,000 francs, and the chronograph Rattrapante is 240,000.
Mm-hmm. And now are you thinking about increasing the number of retailers? I think it's difficult because you have a short production, but
Exactly, yeah.
what is your most important market nowadays?
We have 2 important markets, is US and Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
But there is other markets that we are interested in, but we need to make more watches for now, and then have interest. We'd love to go in Japan, for example, but we know that Japan is a very special market. But we are still young. We have plenty of time to go there.
Mm-hmm. If you would have the crystal ball, how would you like to be in, let's say, 10 years? How do you see the Petermann Bédat brand?
We discussed about that this morning, but we don't want to be a big team, like 30, 40 people. We want to stay like quite small team, but our love would be to make simple watches, complicated watches, and handmade watches. Handmade pocket watch would be the dream, but handmade watches, you don't make a lot of money with it, so it's more for because we love that, for prestige and everything. So we have to build the company correctly, so we can do pocket watches handmade. But that would be the dream for us.
Yeah.
Okay, as we have been talking before, you are a young brand. You are going through the ups and downs of now starting to produce watches. What would be your advice for the younger ones that are thinking now into starting their own brand or studying watchmaking? Maybe to study what is not what you do not study, as you have said, like dealing with clients, really dealing that part, no?
Yeah, I think I will say 2 things. First, it's of course to be very strict with all the paperwork. I would say, because if you are not good at the beginning, it will get worse after. So take your time with paperwork. We know that it's a lot of work that we are no interested in it. But if you can mandate people, or other people can do that for you, it's also a good solution. But be very precise with that. And also, second advice, I would say it's not going too fast. Take your time, and sometimes I advise them to. For now, we are selling very easily watches. It's not a problem for anyone to have the right products at the right time. It's very easy to sell, I would say. But I think it's very important to work a bit with retailers. And I'm not saying selling everything by retailers, but have both retailers and direct clients. I think it's a good strategy for the long term. And I also, the last one, I think you have to think about every detail of your watch. And we did when for our first watch, we made a first dial. We didn't put much effort in it, and we saw that the people saw the watch, and everybody told us that the dial is not working at all, and you have to rework on it. So it's good to be surrounded by good people. For example, we had the chance to meet Bart Nussbaumer, who is a designer, and I think it's good to trust this kind of people that are not watchmaker, but are completely, because for a watch there is plenty of different, how to say, plusieurs jobs dans une montre. there is different. Comment on dit en anglais? There is different of artisan, I would say. There is a dial maker, there's a designer, there is a. So I think you have to find the right team, the right people to surround you, because making everything by yourself, sometimes it's good to have advice from other people. Not too much, of course, but to check with a designer what he thinks about that. Check with many people and be open to change your watch, because we know that it's sometimes difficult. It's your baby. You want to show to people, and sometimes you don't see the same reaction in other people, and sometimes it's because you have to change something, and it's hard to accept, I think. But I think for the long term is worth it. So yeah.
And then my final question is a question that I do to all my interviewees, is that if you were not wearing a Petermann Bédat, which brand and what model would you wear?
It's like I would just check the reference, because I never know the Neo vintage Patek reference. I forget about that all the time. But
for me, I don't wear a lot of watches, but I would love to wear a longer one, because of course I work there. I like the aesthetics of the watch. It's very elegant. I like the dial, the disposition of the dial with the big dates. So for me, it's quite a dream watch. But I know that there is a lot of other watches now. I'm getting more into wearing watches than before. So I have few in my mind, but the first I would love to wear is a longer one.
Yeah, for me, I love vintage Patek for sure, but Neo vintage is you can wear it every day because it's water resistant, and I love the reference 3974, which is a minute repeater perpetual calendar, really beautiful dial, useful because perpetual calendar are always useful with minute repeater, Patek Philippe. Yeah.
What else? No, what else?
So what else? That would be white gold, perfect.
Okay, Florian, Gael, thank you for being with us here at Indie Talks for Double Firma. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks to
I
you.
hope that maybe sooner or later you will come to Spain, or maybe I will visit you in Switzerland.
With pleasure. Yeah, pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.